Coach Cook, head boys basketball coach at Hamilton Heights Christian Academy. And you know I'm always locked in with my brothers, Raylan Wood with Power Forward.
What's up, y'all? This is Rico White. Y'all locked in with Raylan Wood, and this is the Power Forward Podcast.
Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy AJ, Jizzle, Money, Bubba, whatever you want to call me. I'm a professional basketball player. Support my boy Raylan Wood podcast. It's gonna be elite. I'm telling you now.
What's up, world? Kendrick Tate, aka KTZ. Yo, when I power forward, it's got to be with Raylan Wood.
Welcome back to Power Forward with Raylan Wood. Hey, Wood, I'm really excited today, man.
Hey, man, we got a legend among us, man. You don't know how happy I am.
Oh, man.
Personally, with a street named after him.
Hey, look, you know, Coach, you know I had to be excited for me to put this on right here, Coach.
Yeah, you got to go Bobcats.
I've been following y'all and looking at a couple episodes. I know you got to rock your school stuff, but I was like, man, he come on with this Fulton stuff, man, for this time around. I was like, I don't know. I'm going to have to cut it short. I'm only answering a certain number of questions, boy. You come with some Fulton stuff on, to the other side of Broadway. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If you Water Central, man, my brother, my friend, Coach Rawson. How are you today, man? Before we get going, man, you already know I got to ask you, what is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you on the field?
Most embarrassing thing ever happened on the field. So I think it was like my first or second year. It had been raining like all day, but it stopped before like the game started. And so like if you've seen me in warm-ups, I'm with my guys, man. Like, you know, I'm giving them hugs, dapping them up. And so all the time in our intro, I'm always dapping everybody up, and then I always kind of chest bump with the last dude in the line. Man, I went to go chest bump this dude, and I went to get up, and whoo! And I bit it, boy. Now we was up in Campbell County maybe or something somewhere, but boy, the kids would not let me live that down. I fell so hard, boy. You talk about embarrassed, and I hadn't. Thank God it didn't happen like later in my career, essentially. I was still kind of like a newcomer, so it wasn't like that big a deal. But man, I can't imagine if that would happen to me like a couple years down the road, boy. So yeah, that's definitely the most embarrassing thing, man.
Oh man, in this social media era, you surprised somebody didn't get it on camera.
Yo, I got lucky. I swear I got lucky. No pictures, no nothing, man. At least if there was any, people knew not to get those out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, Coach, man, for all the people that don't know you, tell them where you're from, where you grew up and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. So originally I was born in Hackensack, New Jersey, grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, which, for people that don't know, lean on me, Eastside High School, Eastside Ghost. I grew up literally in that school. So my dad went to that high school and he coached football and girls basketball there for 32 years. So I grew up as like a baby ghost. Moved to Hackensack, New Jersey right before high school. So I played high school ball in Hackensack and actually played against my dad 3 years in varsity football and then 2 years in basketball. So that's a whole another deal there. But, grew up coach's kid, everybody in my family, educators. My mom, middle school teacher, recently retired. My dad was social worker, 32 years retired. And I have a younger sister, Bryn, who lives in Washington, D.C., and she's an educator as well. So it's a family full of educators. I was fortunate to get a scholarship to go to Tennessee State University. My HBCUs out there representing. Played quarterback there 3 out of 4 years, had some injuries both years, but when I was healthy, I was starting, so I was good. Got a chance to finish among some top ranks there before I left, and got into coaching. Did GA work at TSU for 2 years, and coached a couple years in Nashville. Was part of a state championship team as an assistant in '08 at Hillsborough High School. Was in Oak Ridge for a couple years. Went back to New Jersey. And then got the fortunate opportunity to be at Knoxville as the head coach, first Black head coach, Knoxville Central, which is, was just an amazing thing in itself amongst all the other things that we did. Obviously, we had a great 6 years there and did some really good things unheard of at that school. And Had a great opportunity to move the trajectory of not just my career, but me and my wife's career, my wife, Brooke. We've been married 3 years. Unbelievable opportunity for us to move up to the Boston area where she is now working. Well, we're both working. She's working at Harvard Business School, and I have a great job at a private school up this way, Belmont Hill School.
Man, that's all right, Coach. So, man, you said something that really stuck out to me, Coach. It's my first time really getting to sit down and talk with you, and I didn't know you was from Patterson.
Yeah, man.
Now, Linwood, if you know anything about this area, he a football guy. I don't know. I don't know how, because that's a basketball gold mine in Patterson, man. You know about the New Jersey players.
Of course.
I know you know.
Definitely.
You know Mr. Jimmy.
Of course. I grew up around him.
Yeah. Hey, look, I know him, man. I know he's good friends with Coach Burke, man. Berkeley James.
So when I was coming up too, he got linked up with Tim Thomas from Patterson Catholic.
Right.
So I used to always go to Tim Thomas summer camp, basketball camp every summer. Mr. Jimmy and my dad were good, close friends. I think they coached together a couple years as well. So yeah, I know Mr. Jimmy real well, man. I got lucky. Basketball was the first love. I can't honestly say I wasn't on like no and1 mixtapes and nothing like that, but I was a decent player. I got an opportunity though to get school paid for through football, man, and I took it and ran with it. We had a really good team in high school, man. We won back-to-back state championships in high school, my junior and my senior year, and we had like 13 guys on Division 1, 2, or 3 scholarships my senior year, and we finished number 7 in the nation. So we had a pretty good football team, and as much as I love basketball, there's nothing like that opportunity to get a full ride, man, to play football. So I had to put that down for a little bit and go play football. So yeah, Patterson's definitely a basketball area. New Jersey is just in general, but definitely in that Patterson area.
Hey, Coach, it's just safe to go ahead and say that you just a winner.
Some people would say that.
There we go, Coach.
Some people would say that. I mean, I like the win. Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you last.
Yeah, right.
And like I said, man, I've been fortunate. I've had some good people around me. I've had some good people in my upbringing, and there's a certain determination, hard work, and work ethic that I have that obviously has brought some good things to me as a student athlete and as a coach.
So, Coach, thinking back as a young man, when did you kind of start figuring out, hey, man, I may have a future in this thing. I may can take this a little bit further than right here at Patterson.
Honestly, growing up, man, like I told you, my parents were both educators. We were kind of old school, man. Like, get out of school, can't go outside nothing until you get your homework done. My mom would always do extra tutoring, like bedside tutoring. So she'd drop us off at the field house, but, we couldn't go outside till we got the homework checked. Couldn't play the video games till on the weekend. Couldn't wait to go to Blockbuster on a Friday afternoon and get you some video games. But, man, they just always instilled in us just a vision, that you could be whatever that you want to be. And I know it sounds cliche, but, Patterson is, pretty rough area growing up, man. And, we had to learn some things that way too. And, honestly, when I finally started to learn a little bit more about my dad. So my dad was first Black quarterback to start at Cornell University in 1971.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm around my dad and football's cool and this and that. But then you start actually learning a little bit more about the dude you look up to, right? You like, man, and they went through a lot. I mean, being in Ithaca, New York, in the early 70s, late 60s, a lot of racial tensions and stuff going on, just being real. And so after starting to hear his story and starting to think of the things that he did, he was like, look, I went through a lot of stuff so that you and your sister could have whatever it is you guys want to have in the world. And he reminds me that every day, man. It was one of the best moments to win that first state championship and have him there with me. Even better, do it again. He's like, what else could I ask for, man? Trailblaze, first Black quarterback at Cornell to eventually see my son be the first Black head football coach, which is crazy. It was in 2014, but still, right? Like come full circle and is able to make it happen. So it's people like him and many others, Mr. Jimmy, other people like that paved the way. It's like, look, we don't make no excuse for where we from, and we gotta go out there and put your mark on the world and always let people know where you come from.
Sure. Man, I love Mr. Jimmy, man. He a tough old dude, man.
Yeah, he get after it.
Oh yeah, he get after it. You know, he done slowed down a little bit from what I heard here, but
Yeah.
man, he definitely somebody that I admire spending some time around, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So why TSU?
So man, good question. So in the whole recruiting process, you know, and I know all kids go through this, man. It's like, you know, think about where you want to go to school, what you want to study, do the applications. Like I was not feeling that, man. I was like, yo, I can't. Like I couldn't go through it. And, you know, I was fortunate to have good grades at the time too. I knew I wanted to play ball, but I was waiting for somebody to come find me. And, you know, that ain't the way it works a lot of times. So you got to be, you know, proactive. So my parents would send me on Black college bus tours, which is like it's throwback, but like man, it was a great thing. And you know, my dad, I don't know if you know this, Wood, but my dad's 87, bro, Lambda Upsilon.
I didn't know that.
Patterson chapter. So like, you know, I spent a lot of time with them. Million Man March. I was on the bus with them to that. They hosted a Black college tour, so I got a chance to go down and see like Bowie State, Virginia State, Howard, all of those deals, and I was like, all right. HBCU ain't so bad, you know? And the athlete in you always want to go like D1, D1, D1. And like Rutgers is a great school, but like they wasn't feeling me in recruiting. I wasn't feeling them. You know, Maryland, different places like that. And man, I got lucky. So we played rivalry games on Thanksgiving football, right? So we were playing our rivalry game my junior year, and there was a coach from Patterson that was up that way for the holidays. This season was done, whatever. And he heard about my team. And then he heard about me. And then like they started recruiting me, man, like going into my senior year, nothing really popped off like that. Needless to say, I had only 3 offers on the table. It was a full ride to Tennessee State, it's a full ride to University of New Hampshire, and then there was a partial scholarship to Colgate. Went through my visits. I left Tennessee State for last. I'm not gonna lie. Like Tennessee was way too far for me to be like a Jersey boy going down Tennessee. I'm like, God, yo, that's not gonna work. I'm telling you, with like, bro, they would call my house. They would call my house, and I wouldn't pick up the phone. They was like, hey, we'll bring you down for a visit. I was like, nah, I can't do it. Like I got basketball games. Like I made every excuse up in the world. Eventually, we finally got to a point to where they were like, all right, hey, you got a game on Monday. We'll fly you down Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll send you back Thursday for your game. We just want you to see it. And man, I went down there and it was all love after that, man. I mean, it was still Division I, right?
Right.
You don't know what you don't know. Like FBS and FCS, you know, they called it 1AA at the moment, but it was still D1 ball, and that was great. And I enjoyed every little bit of it. Best decision I ever made, you know, in my life. And obviously Tennessee has treated me great with some great opportunities. So
man, awesome, man.
Fell back there, my fault.
Oh no, you're okay. You know, I grew up in Atlanta, and my dad worked at Morris Brown for a long time. So as a young kid, I spent a lot of time at the AUC, and I was this close, man, to going to Clark, and I'm kind of glad I did because it ended up, you know, it kind of all the things that happened, but I was this close to going to Clark, man, because I kind of had that vision as well to go to a HBCU, man. So can you speak about that a little bit? Like, what was that experience like coming from, you know, because you coming from the North and now you getting to experience, you know, kind of a different area, a different land, right?
Hospitality.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Everything was different, man. Even the speed, you know, a whole lot in like the Northeast is like go, right? Like
right.
Get on 2 trains, catch the bus to go here, walk where you got to get to. I get down to Nashville and everything was kind of like slowed down. Like everybody's like kind of chill, like just on their own like schedule. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I can get down with this, man. Like I'm not even gonna lie. But you know, I was there for a reason, and it was student athlete. Like I was there to get that degree, like no matter what happened. So I indoctrinated myself well with the program, with the team, with the university, became a part of a bunch of leadership groups, made some really good friends who are my best friends to this day. And man, like time just flew. Next thing I knew, like because I redshirted my first year, I got to that 5th year, I was having senior night and all that other stuff, man. But that's the one thing I wish kids did a little bit better these days was like research HBCUs and what it really means, man, because it's no different than any of the other schools other than you just have more people that look like you.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's pros and cons any school you go to. But there's something to be said when you see the success of people that look like you walking across that stage year in and year out in the majority.
Yeah.
Right.
And we know what those numbers are like. But I wish kids did a little bit more research just to see what schools had to offer. Obviously not just TSU, but you think about Howard and Jackson State, and I think that's going to be real big with Deion Sanders being there, man. And you hear about these basketball kids considering HBCUs. I think it's finally starting to turn that corner, and I'm excited about that because for me to pick a school like that back in 2001, a lot of people looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, what? You going down there to do what? You can just stay up here, like football ain't. And I was like, look, I'm doing this. I'm gonna step outside the box and take a chance. And it all worked out well. So far, so good.
And man, just a side note away from sports, man, it's crazy how much you used to see like HBCUs influenced by shows. You can't watch like a Living Single, all those old shows without seeing something that was HBCU.
Yep. And Living Color.
And
No, not in Living Color.
it was
A different
Dwayne
world.
Wade. Yeah, different world.
different world. And I mean, you don't see anything like that on TV anymore. So it's like unless they go back and watch something that they have to hear about an HBCU and
Yep.
it should be like that.
Right.
Well, the other thing too, man, I think that a lot of young people don't realize is just the overall atmosphere at most of your HBCUs, especially years ago. Now, I hadn't been on campuses in a while, but I know when I was a teenager coming up, man, I got to experience it a little bit, man. I've been. Have you ever been to a Southern football game? A Southern University football game, man?
It's different.
Oh, go. A Grambling
Different.
football game.
Yeah.
Florida A&M.
Or the A&M.
Oh, Florida A&M in their heyday. Man, y'all, but the other part of it is that it, to me, it shows African Americans past all of the stereotypes that we have in America, right? So it shows us in a bunch of different lights, but the ones that really stuck out to me was it showed me how diverse African American people in general can be. You get what I'm saying? But that was something that always made me feel prideful anytime I was at a HBCU because it was people, being unapologetic about who they are and being excited about their heritage and where they come from and kind of being together.
Yep.
You kind of felt that togetherness, but yeah, man.
Completely agree.
Coach, you lucky, man. I wish I had that experience.
Hey man, and you don't know what you don't know. So it wasn't until after I got done. Because usually I played against Southern, played against Grambling, played against all those people. So you don't really get to see the full scope of what happens at a HBCU football game.
Right.
So it wasn't until I got done, so I got a chance to go visit, go to other people's homecomings, go really see the outside, of not being an athlete to really appreciate, man, HBCU is a wonderful thing, man. And ultimately, it don't matter where you go as long as you get that degree.
Yeah.
And beyond if given that opportunity, but HBCUs don't get enough positive publicity and opportunity just to go see them inside and out.
So, Coach, man, transitioning from TSU, once you get out of school, tell me what's your mindset? Or did you always have a mindset that once you were done playing, you were going to be a coach, or was this something that kind of found you?
Yeah, I think it found me.
Do it.
I got hurt. I got hurt in my senior year. So weird. It was weird. Like I redshirted my first year, got to start as a redshirt freshman, broke my left foot 4 games into the season. We played Grambling. We was playing Grambling in Las Vegas. Unbelievable opportunity. Lost the game, and I broke my foot. That season over. Came back, started as a sophomore, started as a junior, came back as a senior, 3-year starter, some real high expectations, new head coach, new OC, everything else. Second game of the season, broke my right foot. Playing against Jackson State in the Southern Heritage Classic in Memphis on BET when they used to put those games still on BET.
I remember that.
So I was fortunate we won that game in overtime, but man, I hurt my foot and I knew like that was my last game. So long story short, I had a chance at a medical redshirt, right? Only the second game in. Didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I'll just say I got approved on some levels and got denied on some other levels. So I didn't get my 5th-year eligibility or my 6th-year eligibility coming off of injury. So I'm not going to lie, I was mad at the game of football. Like I wanted nothing to do with it at all. And again, like, my dude, my rock, my dad, like he was right there, right? When I had the surgery on my right foot, and he was like, because I thought I could potentially get a chance to, have a good pro day, maybe see what happens. You go start 3 years, maybe HBCU, you might get a little bit of a chance or something. My dad, after I had that surgery on my right foot my senior year, he was like, you don't even know this yet, but your best football is still ahead of you. And of course, I'm looking at him like, yo, you're crazy, dude. Like, I got to get another screw put in my foot. I was starting, this. So anyways, I was done with football. I was like, yo, I need a break. Like I can't. I knew mentally I was still in it, but emotionally, like I was scarred. And then I felt like not getting that year back, like felt like something wrong happened to me, or why am I getting, whatever. So I really wanted nothing to do with football, nothing to do with coaching. And so I got my degree in elementary ed, certified K-8. So I started teaching. I was a 4th grade teacher, and I was a GA'd at TSU, but not really like full on GA. I was just helping like on game day stuff, helping with the quarterbacks, mentally prepare them. And they had to like, ask quite a bit to get me to do that. So I was like, yeah, I really don't want to be around any of this at all.
Right.
And I got fortunate, man. Scott Blade was the head coach at Hillsborough High School, and they were doing a community service project. It was a daddy and daughter's breakfast, and he brought his team to be dad chaperones for the girls that had nobody there that morning. And I was like, man, this is powerful, dude. Like this is what they mean by serving the community. And Hillsborough and where I was at Antioch, 2 completely different socioeconomic statuses, man. Like those kids don't need to be out there in Antioch doing that to help, but they went out there and did that, man. And he kind of sized me up. Coach Blaze sized me up, and he was like, "You don't coach no football, you don't play." And so I used to play, yada yada yada. And he said, "Well, just come out and see what we do." He said, "If it seems like something you'll be interested in, we'll be lucky to have you." And so I went out there a couple of days, and just being around kids gives you a whole another different type of inspiration, man. So kind of put myself to the back burner, got out of my own way, and said, "Hey, I want to help these kids be successful." And honestly, that's what started my coaching career.
All right, man. So you end up once you get here to Knoxville, how did you end up at Oak Ridge though? How did that form?
Yeah, so I was with Scott Blade in Nashville, Hillsborough, 2008. First year coaching high school ball, we won state championship.
Jeez.
And out of all things, we beat Maryville High School, who had the nation's longest winning streak at that time, like 76 games. And we took these kids from Nashville, man, just like let them know what it was. We won 10-7. I'll never forget it. It was 4A state championship. So, of course, like, you win it that first year as a coach. You like, oh, yeah, like, this how it's supposed to be all the time.
Right.
Right after that happened, Coach Blade got the job at Oak Ridge.
Right.
He asked me if I would move with him. And I was like, man, I've been in Nashville for like 10 years at the time. Got 2 degrees, almost like felt like established, right? I'm like, man, I don't know if I could take this chance. He was like, just come on, I'll take care of you, and like literally his family took me in. He has all girls. He got a wife and 3 daughters. And he was like, 1, I need another dude with me. He was like, 2, I think we could do something special, something that's never been done there. And Oak Ridge already had a storied history and tradition. So he was just looking to continue to build on that. And he always told me one thing. He's like, you got to strike while the iron's hot, man. And he was hot at the moment. He had been in state championship, I think, 2 out of the last 4 years, and finally won it and had an opportunity to go there. So went with him to Oak Ridge. We were there 3 years together. I think we went quarterfinals, semifinals, quarterfinals. So we always win at least second, third, fourth round. Always getting put out by Maryville though. We could never get them again, man, when we were at, somewhere else. But then I had an opportunity to go back to Hackensack High School. Like I had a chance to go back to my alma mater and possibly be the head coach there. So as much as I love being with Coach Blade, and he, one of the hottest coaches in the state, learning everything from him, I was like, Coach, man, I got a chance to go back and be the guy, like at my school, like where I won 2 state championships. And so, he understood, it was a tough decision, but he understood, and I went and did that. And, sometimes things don't always fall out as they seem. So situation was I had to kind of sit and wait for a couple years. And they wanted me to learn, the dynamics again about being back home. And just make sure I was ready. People are very tentative to hire someone that doesn't have that experience.
Yeah.
Right. Like a lot of people are not apt to hire a head coach that doesn't have head coaching experience because you just don't know how it's going to go. So I don't fault Hackensack for that. I just knew at some point in time, somebody's got to take that chance. Right. So I did everything I could to kind of prove and show that I was the person there, and completely respect. I mean, I was with Coach Benji Wembley, who had won 6 out of like the last 10 private school championships in football in New Jersey. So I'm fortunate to be around, again, like just a lot of good people. Like the stuff that I'm learning, right, just filing it all, man, because I'm like, yo, my spot, my time's gonna come soon. And I was there 2 years, and the current principal, not current right now, but at the time, the principal at Central High School was Jody Goins. Jody Goins was first Black principal at Central High School. Jody Goins from Oak Ridge. Yeah. When I was teaching in Oak Ridge, his mom was the principal at Glenwood Elementary School, where I was teaching 4th grade at. And he said, hey, we may have an opportunity come up. I think you should interview for the job and see if it's a possibility. So I went down there, man. I checked it out. Put my best foot forward, man. Did everything I could do for my first head coaching interview. And I knew it was going to be tough because like East Tennessee 1 just has different dynamics to it that makes it tough for us to get in. And then 2, like who's going to take the chance to hire a guy with not, head coaching background. And Central also had their own history. Now, I mean, Coach Helton was there for a bunch of years. And Coach Helton started his coaching career in 1984, the year I was born. So like to come back around full circle and see everything he did in what was like my lifetime.
Right.
Dude, you don't want to be the dude to follow that dude. And fortunately or unfortunately, there was somebody in between there, so that the buffer was, was there. But so fortunate for Jody Goins at the time, man, for taking that chance. And it was funny because we sat there and laughed and said, first Black principal at Central High School, first Black head coach Central High School. He's like, hey, I think it's time to break some barriers. And man, it's one of the best decisions I know for sure he ever made. I wish he had, been there a little bit longer to see the success with me, but he went on to do bigger and better things as well. But man, I can't appreciate him and the people on that hiring committee because like it's a big deal, man.
Oh yeah,
big boy football, East Tennessee is a big deal. So you not only does the principal have to like you, the community, the hiring committee, parents, the players, everything, man. So man, it all worked out, man, and it's one of the best things that happened to me in my career. And obviously I got a lot of good accolades to support that. But yeah, that's how we got to this point, man.
Man, it's so crazy because I remember you getting a job, and I remember getting 2 phone calls. One was from Johnny Hawkins, the other one was from Keith Perry. Your high school just got a steal head coach. What you talking about? Coach Rosser is the best coach ever. He gonna win with them boys. And at the time, I'm like, with Central, man, I hope he do good.
Right, right.
See, it's Central we talking about here.
Good luck to him.
Good luck to him. But man, when both of them called me, because they called me like back to back, I was like, all right, maybe Central up to something. And now it's like, man, I'm happy that I got to watch the story.
Yeah. No, they definitely was up to something. I mean, you know, we've spoken a little like now about my career, my trajectory getting to that point. Obviously, I've had some unbelievable experiences and a lot of winning going on, but and you know, think about it, like Keith and those guys, like I was only around them for 5 months.
Yeah.
Like it was only one football season I was with them. But there was such a great relationship that we had there. Like, you know what it is. Like when kids see potential in you, like it's one thing to have confidence in yourself, but when kids have confidence in you,
Believing you, yeah.
you're like, yo, I won't let you down no matter what.
Right.
And I knew it was more than just a football job.
Right.
Like I knew that. Like I knew what it meant to the community. I knew what it was gonna mean to people that look like me. I knew what it meant to the coaching dynamic. Like I was like, yo, you can't mess this up, bro. You can't. Like, and I wasn't going to. I mean, if you'd have told me we'd have won the way we did and we'd have did, you know, what we did, I don't know. Like, I was just trying to win some games and like be well respected in the profession. But to get to where we got like that, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
And it's crazy because the time when you did it, it seemed like kids thought the only way they could win was to go to another school, like the high school, like Fulton, Catholic, or anywhere else but Central. So the kids you did it with, man, it is why I have so much respect for you.
Yeah, man. It's you know, it's one thing to get the opportunity, and it's another thing to figure out how you're gonna do it and how you're gonna be successful. Because I mean, like we talked about it, being average is not okay to me. Like it's just not. But there's certain ways you can be successful, and it's not always on the scoreboard. And so I was always taught, well, one thing I truly believe was if you take care of things off the field, they'll take care of things on the field eventually. Eventually. I mean, sounds cliche, and some people are doing great jobs off the field and then never equates to wins. But we had to take that approach because, like you said, like kids didn't really want to come to Central. I remember being at Oak Ridge and we would go against Central, and it's like, hey, they're talented, but they're either going to self implode by halftime. They're either not in shape enough to keep up with us, undisciplined. You know, you can worry about them in the beginning, but you don't have to really worry about them playing for 4 quarters. So that's where I feel like I had a little bit of the upper hand because I knew like how, as an opponent, how we looked at Central. So I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna have people talk about us like that no more. Like, you know, even though I was on the other side of the talking, I'm like, all right, I know what we got to do. 1, we got to be in shape. 2, we got to get people to respect us. And then 3, we just got to be competitive. Right. But we can't do those things until like we create a culture that's like accountable to one another and like we do things together. So, you know, obviously you've seen a bunch of stuff that we've done in the community, whether it was opening car doors at all of our feeder schools, starting up a young men's mentoring program at Gresham. And you talk about full circle. It's great to see those kids in 7th and 8th grade and they tell you that they suck, that you suck. And then those same kids are like on your team a couple years later. Right. Like, damn, I thought we sucked. Like, you didn't want to play, but, you know, it was Fulton this, Fulton that. I mean, you know, but you got to start somewhere, right? And I just felt like we were going to do the little things to at least keep us together. So I know there's things that hold true in East Tennessee and especially in Knoxville, right? Like you got to close off your borders. Plain and simple. You got to keep your kids to be your kids. If you do things the right way, I mean, you're going to get some along the way, but you just can't let the floodgates be open. And I'll never forget my first year, we played against Fulton at Central. It got ugly. And they're telling me like, yeah, but this kid, blah, 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 blah. Like he was on Central and this kid was on Central and this kid was on. And I'm like, damn, really?
Yeah.
And bro, we got beat 71-7 by Fulton.
I remember that.
Our first year.
Yeah.
Never forgot that, by the way. Which
Hey, the good ones, coach, the good ones don't though, right? The good ones take that and channel that in a certain mind, and channel that and take that somewhere, right?
and you had to because right after that one, I'm like, all right, you guys said you wanted to play for this football team. I said I wanted to coach this football team. We're gonna deal with this thing through all the goods and all the bads. You're gonna go out here and you're gonna hear all this talk from all these other people. I gotta have my name in the paper and get bashed. So like, if I'm gonna take it, you either gonna take it with me or you can just go over there with the other people. And there were some kids that left. I'm like, yo, I respect that. Like that's cool, but the ones that stay, we're gonna do it the right way. And man, it just became a grind, man. We just found a way to like, our thing was family. Forget
Yeah.
about me. I love you. Right. And I was like, yo, I need you guys to like stop thinking about yourself and think about the guy next to you. Cause the only way we're going to do anything successful is by thinking and carrying each other's back.
Sure.
And that first year we won the last game of the season, make the playoffs, made the playoffs first year, which it had been a while. I think that was like only the second time in 10 years going to playoffs for Central at the moment. And we got killed by a really good West team that went on to win state championship that year. They had Nathan Cottrell and all those other guys. Mm-hmm. But just showing the perseverance to get into the playoffs at 4-5, having to win to get in, I was like, man, we got something special here. Like these kids, like they stuck through it the whole way. 71-7, losing this game, losing that game. I know at one point in time, I think we had a 3-game losing streak. That was the only time we ever lost 3 games straight, I think, in my time in 6 years. But kids nowadays, they start losing, they get hard. They're like, nah, I'm straight, man. Like, I don't really want to be here for that.
The people, they start getting bashed on Twitter, this, that, and the other. They don't want to.
They don't want nothing to do with it.
But coach, I want to speak about a young man who, I've never coached. I've only had the opportunity to be around him some. I kind of watched him from afar. I've coached a lot of AAU here as well in Knoxville. And one year I was going to coach him. So, but some things happened, and he ended up playing with another team. But anyhow, Trey Mitchell, coach. Yeah, like coach, I'm a stickler. I spend a lot of time with kids, right? And when you just see a guy on the path, right? You just, he do all the right things, coach. I'm getting excited right now just talking about Trey Mitchell. Speak on Trey Mitchell, because I saw how his career ended and some of the games y'all had and stuff. And I'm watching it at home, coach, and I'm thinking, I'm not surprised it's Trey Mitchell.
Right.
So how did it feel to be that be one of your leaders, man?
Yeah. So, especially as a head coach, you got to have somebody that you can connect to and relate to, right? Mm-hmm. And especially the quarterback, right? Like, man, I played quarterback since I was 5. Like, that's the only position I know. I ain't tackling nobody. And Trey wasn't tackling nobody. So I'm like, I got this kid, and he's a coach's kid too, right? Mm-hmm. Something to be said about that. Mm-hmm. So like, he knows the work ethic. He's been in the gym. His dad, was always pushing him. Was a basketball coach at Central, right? Mom's freaking legend, softball coach. So like that kid's got something in him. And he had a bunch of serious unfortunate events. When he was in high school, like freshman, sophomore year, I think he was the backup. Crazy story. My first 3 years of coaching at Central, I never had a backup quarterback. Something always happened to the backup quarterback when I was there. So I literally played with one kid for the entire year for 3 years. Trey got hurt, I think, as a sophomore maybe, or as a freshman. He was a backup. But anyways, the first year Trey started for me, we were still trying to just get to know one another. But he would always put in the work. I mean, always put in the work. And it's one thing to be a ball player, and it's another thing to be a ball player and a coach on the field. I needed Trey to become a coach on the field because he had all the tools. He just didn't really know how to use his weapons around him. And man, I remember the offseason after his junior year, I forgot what happened there. We lost to Greenville in the second round. And like, you make it in the playoffs and you're like, all right, you get to the second round. You feel like, all right, that's pretty good. And Trey was like, Coach, there's so much more we can do. That's all I need to hear. When you want to get started. That's why I asked him, when you want to get started. I said, I know you got basketball. Go ahead, do your thing. If you ever want to get in some work in between basketball, I'm here. But when you're done, we're going to get to it. And man, we spent so much time in the weight room, in the training room, in the film room, and on the field that by the time his senior year came around, there wasn't a situation that we came up with that I didn't think Trey could handle. And it showed. I mean, like, now I'm about to get excited. We was down in Morristown West by 28 on TV.
That's the game I'm talking about, Coach.
Coach, we went inside. I'm like, all right, if you guys want to start playing, then start playing. 15 and start with you. Lead by example. Lead by example. I'll do my part. You got to do yours, right? Because when the lights come on, like, it's not really up to us as coaches. I mean, let's just be real. We all know it. Like, it's all about what you do before then.
Right.
It's all about what you do before the lights come on. So I'm like, all right, guys, like, let's just make it happen. And man, that play, I still remember it. The last play of the game, man, he threw a Hail Mary, got us down to the 5, called timeout, and he rolled left, threw back right for the game winner. Man, it was unbelievable. The Greenville game when he threw the Hail Mary to win it. Unbelievable. Marshall County, we were down by 17 at halftime in the semifinals game. Same thing there. Like, he was just one of those kids that just always wanted to get after it, man. And he would pull every single kid he could along with him. When they leaving, he's like, hey, I need to throw 10 more passes. Get back out here.
Right.
Coach, I need you to watch. The work ethic was always in him. He just needed somebody to kind of match it. You know what I'm saying? And I said, yo, I'm right here with you. I'm a quarterback. I got your vision. I need to see what you see and let me help you tailor it for you. And then, one of the best things for me, I think maybe it was last year, I was just looking at this picture, was like watching him start at ETSU.
Right.
Like, all that man wanted to do was play college football.
Yeah. But are you surprised, though?
No. I was surprised how he got there.
Right.
So, like, initially, straight out of high school, like, he should have ended up on somebody's roster somewhere.
Right.
And he didn't, but he followed that dream of playing ball. And when he went to Kahoma Community College in Mississippi, I was like, oh, no. It's like, yo, like, he's going to go down there and get lost in the shuffle. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And honestly, like, the real MVP with Trey Mitchell, my wife took a liking to Trey, and they had a bond that was almost stronger than mine. And I have no idea why. I have no idea. And honestly, at the time, I didn't care. Like, whatever it took for the kid to listen to me better. But like, they always had a great relationship and just always stayed in contact with one another. She'll say to this day, like, he's her favorite player. But, he went down to community college, and the one thing we made sure is that we always stayed in contact with him because we knew, like, 1, he couldn't be there long, and 2, like, he was destined for something else.
Right.
And so we sent them care packages. I would, like, FaceTime call him. Like, we did it every week after every game. We watched every single game somehow on Kahoma Community College TV. And he always stayed in contact. He's like, Coach, I need to, this is what I have to do to play to get where I need to get to. And man, it was only a matter of time before he got the opportunity. Then he gets to ETSU and some things happen, in his favor. And he starts the last 6-7 games, and being there, watching him throw, man, it was just an unbelievable feeling. And he's just one of many stories, man. But that kid came with something. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was just fortunate to be the person to kind of match him and help bring it out of him.
Man, right. I can remember he was our water boy up at Central. And man, he little short kid just running around, clumsy. See him. And I think me and you had a conversation. It was either before the game or after the game when at ETSU, Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's special. Because I remember that game they won. I don't remember who they played, but they won. It was like, man, the kid is just special. Like,
And he had, foundation is everything, man.
Yeah.
And, some of us are fortunate to have that and be successful. And then there's a lot of kids that don't have that foundation and are still successful. Yeah. So you're right. I mean, both of y'all spoke on it. You saw something in him that was destined to be great. And he's going to continue to do great things no matter what, even outside, when football is done. which
Right.
happens, the sport ends for all of us eventually at some point in time. So
So, Coach, I got another young man that I want to bring up, man. I'm talking, Coach. This is like one of my top favorite guys, man. He is an infectious young man that it's funny. I kind of watched him. I'm gonna say he took the city by storm. He took the city by storm, and next thing I know, he was out on the basketball court for a little while, and I get a call. This young man is close to my family, man. Sammy Long is out on the football field, and Coach, before I know it, you got this young man out on the field, man, and I can't tell you, I can't even express to you, man, what it meant past to him, but to the people that care about him, man. So you did an awesome job with that, Coach. Talk about Sammy though, man.
so just in general, right? Like again, that family piece, right? Like forget
Right.
about me, I love you. Everybody has different family situations, right? And I tell my kids all the time, families enjoy one another's company. Family members help each other out when they need it. Family members fight at times when they disagree, which is okay. Ultimately, you win together and you lose together. But at some point in time, you're always looking to add another member to your family, right? And as the head of the family, I knew Sammy was the missing piece for a lot of guys. A lot of guys don't have the fortunate opportunity to grow up with brothers, right? I never had a brother, right? I had a younger sister.
Right.
A lot of these guys are just them or no sibling at all. And I'm telling you, we laid the groundwork way before this ever happened because Sammy was a part of our mentoring program.
There it is.
And Sammy got comfortable with those guys.
Yeah.
And those guys got comfortable with Sammy. And when he got up to high school, it wasn't a question of whether he was coming. The question was, what number is he gonna wear?
Right.
Because they was like, Coach, like we gonna take care of Sammy, but the only way we take care of him is if he's with us. And again, within the family, right? Like we all have differences, we all have differences of opinions, we all have different ways that we show ourselves, the way we communicate. And we know Sammy was different. Like I told guys, hell, we all different.
Yeah.
We all are.
The way I eat my pizza ain't gonna be the same way you eat yours. The way I see football ain't gonna be the same way you see yours. So and it was so cool because you saw the upperclassmen, it was just like, yo, like he's definitely with us, Coach. Like there's no maybes, if or what. And it was like, we're gonna take him. And I'm telling you, like Isaac Buell, Trey Mitchell, Rondro Peebles, Jadarius Sackey, all of those guys, they was like, Coach, he's with us. And they said that before they left. So like just to make it clear, like he wasn't even on the team with them. And they were like, Coach, you gotta have him part of this thing. Because when things get a little tense, Sammy's gonna be the one to ease everything out. Right. Now I will tell you, me and Sammy have had some run-ins on some Friday nights because Sammy don't care what he says sometimes.
Yeah.
And boy, it'd be a bad call or something, and I'd be yelling at the ref, and Sammy be yelling at the ref too. Sammy, if you don't get your butt back there somewhere, and I that boy. One time we lost a game, man. We lost. Maybe it's freshman year. We lost a game, first game of the season. Something happened as the clock struck 0. I kind of got mad and I threw my headset down, and Sammy threw his whole helmet down. Boom! What are you doing?
He watching you,
It's
Coach.
funny. Yeah, he watching me, right? And it's funny, like the kids come up and they just put their hand on it, like they like, Coach, remember, he's family.
Yeah.
Man, get off of me, man. I could be mad if I want to. But nah, it's just so cool, man, to just have Sammy and be a part of it. And honestly, like him and all those other guys, they're connected not through just one ring, but two. Showed up to practice every day, did what we asked him to do. And man, he could always be himself, and he knew he could be himself. And that was the best part about our program. It didn't matter if you were Trey Mitchell or Sammy Long. Forget about me, I love you, and vice versa. It was awesome.
It's big time. So man, you got to run us through the first one. How did that go? When did you know it was gonna happen?
Well, I'm telling you, when we got there in 16, in year 3, I was like, yo, it's like, this is happening. Like, we here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had that was a rough season. That was a rough season for us because, there's something to be said about teams that make it far, right? Like, you have to be built to play 14, 15 games and see, like, I'm not crazy. I also do my research, right? I started looking at how teams like Maryville and Fulton at the time, who I think won 3 or 4 straight, like, how are they still like sustaining the level of expectation? And I had some really good guys, Coach Courtney at Farragut, Coach Corals. Those 2 guys were 2 of my best mentors when I first got the job. I mean, opened up their entire field house to me. It was like, hey, whatever we can do to help, please let us know. And so I just wanted to see, like, what's it take for longevity. But anyways, we also had some other things go on off the field. There was quite a bit of stories and just like some uproar in the community that was just unfortunate, man, that our kids were dealing with. But somehow, some way, our kids used that to channel their energy to kind of be the positivity for the community.
Right.
And I think y'all know what I'm talking about. There was some negative stuff that was going on, man. But our kids was like, hey, we are the one thing that can pull this community together and give them something to be happy about. Even though, like, the dark cloud was over the program, right? Because, that young man was, he was, again, one of mine.
Right.
So, like, we get there, and I'm not going to lie, like, I think we were more so happy to be there instead of there being on a mission. And we were tired. We were worn out. We had played 11 games the first year, only 12 games the second year, and then we're playing in our 15th game. We weren't quite at the point to where we should have been. So, and that Memphis East team that was there, that was their night. They were just going to beat us that day. But I'm telling you, the freshmen and sophomores and juniors that saw what losing was like on that level, you heard guys like Xavier Washington, Demetrian Johnson. They were like, hey, if we ever get back, not getting back on the bus like this ever again. And it's unfortunate the next year we dealt with some crazy stuff. We lost our quarterback. We lost 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Right.
And still made it to the semifinals game.
Right.
And that's when I was like, oh, we got something going, boy. Like, let me get a healthy group together and let's see what happens.
Right.
But yeah, the first one was great, man. It was a good run. Started off 0-2.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like, he knows it to this day. I was talking to Xavier, and he was like, Coach, man, like, we might not even lose the game, Coach. When you got a team that's just feeling itself, right?
Yeah.
And boy, we lose the first 2 games and 0-2. I said, okay, y'all ready to play some football now? Like, you're gonna try it my way now? You're gonna let your egos out the way? And no lie, we got to a point to where, like, the next week after that, I think we only practiced like maybe 1 or 2 days. We just worked on the mind and the heart. I'm like, all right, look, non-conference games, that's cool. You got a chance to do something special, let's do it. And those guys locked in, man. And then we finally get to the state championship game on a Saturday night, last game of the weekend, and the damn weather storm comes through.
Right.
A bad one.
I'm already nervous because you get to a point like that and you lose one, you get a little gun shy now. Even as a coach, you're like, oh man, I can't lose another one.
Right.
I can't lose another one. I gotta leave. I gotta go somewhere else. But honestly, it was a blessing that the storm came through as it did, because we sat in that locker room and all we did was tell good stories about the last 4 years. You have freshmen listening to seniors talk about some of the best things that happened to them in the last 4 years, and how we went from this team that was 5-6 to all of a sudden we're 12-2, sitting at a state championship game. And so they're putting now another seed in those young guys' mind. And I'm telling you, it's the most stressful I probably have ever been in my life, taking kids home and having to bring them back in less than the 12-hour turnaround. Making sure they got fed, making sure they had enough sleep, and then was in the right mindset to play a day game. We've never played a day game. Nobody plays a day game ever
On a
Right.
Sunday though.
on Sunday. And then they're not gonna show it on TV. They're not gonna do this. They're not gonna do that. So whatever. I'm like, hey guys, like, weather's clear now, and we had great team speed. So playing in the rain could kind of hamper you a little bit. Weather was clear, a little windy. School's never won state championship, guys. How about you go make history?
Right.
And we were against a team that I really honestly felt matched well with us. They had experience, and honestly, they probably were the better team that day. But our kids, I think, wanted it just a little bit more.
Man, Washington played an amazing game. He had Fortner come up big.
You could just tell that our kids wanted it just a little bit more. We were outmatched in a lot of ways. They were bigger, stronger, and more physical than us up front. It was real windy, so our skill guys couldn't really get what they wanted to get to. We had never practiced in the sun, so that kind of hurt us. But our kids just like you said, Washington and Fortner, those guys towards the end, Tyler Boss, Malik, Demetrian, like they just at the end they just said, no, it's our time right now. So that complete shock. So we win that, and I'm like, yo, like what just happened, dude? Like, and you could like I still remember I go like this. I'm like, yo, did we just win the state championship? And like, yo, it was pandemonium, man. But it was such a great feeling to see all the hard work the kids put in to get to that level. And it was an even better feeling to see how the community took that in, man.
Oh yeah.
To get something you've never had, you got to do stuff you've never done before.
Yeah,
That's right.
And it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Man, me and Wood talk about it a lot. How I don't think people realize, especially in smaller towns like a Knoxville, how important or how impactful it could be just by a group of young men or a group of young ladies playing sports and having success, and how impactful it could be. I don't think a lot of people realize that. But Coach, man, I've watched you on interviews and stuff like that, and I've read a couple articles and stuff, and there are a couple things that really, really stuck out to me. It's a reoccurring theme, right? So everybody he got what I call sauce, Coach. He got a magic sauce that right that he got different ingredients in, and no matter where he at, he gonna take that sauce with him, right? Yeah. And Coach, I just keep hearing in your sauce, I keep hearing these words. I keep hearing attitude, effort, and discipline. And I hear all the things you talking about. The way that your guys played, it just spoke. It really spoke to that, man. The way you guys played and stuff like that, I really thought it made a difference. But all the adversity that y'all went through, I feel like that was the reason why, the games were easy, because like you said, we really look at real life and all of the things that our kids are going through, and we really address those things. So when we can address those things, man, I think it make the game easy, right?
And so the other part of that, and so anytime I did an interview, I was always stamping or showing my brand, but secretly talking to my kids. So like anytime it was attitude, effort, discipline, they knew exactly what it was, and they knew what I was talking about. But then there's another acronym that I use, the word core.
Yeah.
And I got it. And so I would talk about our kids' character. I would talk about how optimistic they were, no matter what the scoreboard was, how much we were down, how resilient they are, and then how much they played with enthusiasm. And anytime I said that, you could tell, like, if my kids are around, they're like, oh, hey, coach talking to us. Like, he's trying to get our attention. Because, honestly, I just try to give them things that they deal with all the time in their day-to-day life that they can use on the field. There's so many life lessons that you can learn in sports and vice versa. You know, there's something to be said about being on the court with 4 other teammates on a basketball court. Something to be said about being on the field with 10 other guys on a football field. There's something to be said about being in a track lane by yourself.
Yeah.
But the core concepts that we were teaching our guys were things that they could carry on for the rest of their life. You know, character. What are you doing when no one's watching? What type of, you know, I shouldn't have to worry about you on the weekend because you should be at least trying to be a man of character.
Yeah.
Right.
Optimism, right? There's no reason to be negative. You're alive. As you know, to this point, there's nothing wrong with you. So you can complain. Don't get me wrong. You can complain, but at some point in time, you got to switch the narrative. Like, tell me what's happening in a good way for you right now.
Right.
The resiliency piece is, okay, you ain't the first kid in the world that got 2 English papers due in the next month, a math exam, and having problems with your parents and your girlfriend. Like, that's okay, but how are you going to get through it?
Right.
I know it's things going on, but how are you going to get through it? So when it gets to 3rd down and 3rd and 15 at South Doyle in the quarterfinals game, and it's foggy and it's this and that, like, I know it's tough, but you got to make the play.
You got to make the play.
You got to. Just like you got to get the English paper done. Just like you got to pass that math test if you want to play on my team.
Right.
And then the enthusiasm part is you better enjoy life while you got it. Because it's kids every day leaving this earth, whether it's bad decisions, unfortunate circumstances, mistakes that they made, or just not enough people loving on them. So you hold on to your core, which is, we always talked about being the innermost part of something, right?
Right.
You hold on to your core. I'll provide the love. Let's just see what happens, man. And honestly, you know, fortunately for us, at the end of the day, there were a lot of good things that happened, but I know it's weird to say, but our program impacted a lot of lives in a lot of good ways that no one will ever see.
Sure.
The cherry on the top, or the 2 cherries on the top, are the rings in the gold balls, right? But the lessons go so much farther than that.
That to me, that's like you know, that's the thing that a lot of people will recognize. But the people that know you closely, you know, they hold on to the other stuff, right? They remember how you made them feel, how you treated them.
Sammy, Trey.
Right, how you felt around them. Totally. Coach, man, so you know, I'm a young coach here in Knoxville. And I'm gonna drop a little nugget out here. I ain't gonna speak too tough on it, but
Yep.
I get a phone call potentially about me getting an opportunity to work at Central.
Yep.
And Wood, you know, as a young coach, right? What's the first thing you do? Soon as you get a little nugget of any information, you look, you start thinking big time, the whole big thing, right? Big picture.
Big picture.
Wood, I've never said this to anybody. I thought I was gonna get an offer to be the head coach at Central for basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, it's over, coach.
Yeah.
It's over. They're gonna let me get with Coach Rosser, man. And he gonna get me right. He gonna tone me down a little bit. Gonna tone me down just a little bit. And it's gonna be over, coach, because you already know. Only thing I want to do is do it the right way for the kids, man. And watch them blossom. So it didn't happen. It didn't happen, coach, but I had to let you know,
I'm always willing to help though, man.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
This thing right here, like we doing right here, man. I mean, anytime anything come up, man. I mean, it would have been all love for all 3 of us to be under the same roof, but you know, sometimes the big man in charge always controls our steps.
Right.
You know, they say if you you know, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right?
That's right. That's right.
Hey, he said, nah, y'all couldn't tear it all up like that. He wouldn't let us do that. Man. He wouldn't let us do that. So, you know, we just got to laugh it off. Be like, all right, God, you right. But, you know, honestly, like I'm always here, man. And I've been fortunate, you know, in this COVID time and not having a football season up this way to link up with coaches in different areas and from different sports in different parts of the world, man, and get together and just talk.
Right.
Talk. So know that resource is there no matter what. I mean,
I appreciate
there's
that,
stuff
Coach.
I still want to learn from you guys too. So,
Yeah.
hopefully this does continue on. But that's been my thing. People are like, oh, I know it sucks, like not having football and not having a season and watching Central play. And this is, I'm like, why? Life is what you make it. Remember I told you those core concepts, right? Like, nah, what's the optimistic part of this?
Yeah.
One, I'm not gonna lie to you. It seems like a damn hard job to be a football coach in COVID times.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna lie. And I
Right.
mean from safety standpoint to not knowing if you have a game or not. The recruiting aspect is crazy right now too.
Yeah.
And as much as I want to be on the field coaching, there's a lot of things that I'm not getting to experience, in which I'm kind of I'm glad to just be like a lending ear to guys, because like I don't know if I could have dealt with some of that. So like God took this time to kind of put me to the side. I'm like, hey, focus on some other things as well, because I'm stressed out about just a Friday night. And normal with a packed stands, I can't imagine all the stuff coaches been going through right now with COVID stuff, man. Like that, I mean, so much respect to all the coaches dealing with it.
For sure.
A lot.
For sure. Man, Wood, what do we owe this to, man?
Man, listen, this man got a street named after him in Knoxville at my old school. And,
That's what
and
I'm
at
saying.
the best burger joint in Knoxville, he got a burger.
I'm
named
here.
after him.
I'm here, man. I'm here to talk, man. Whatever y'all need, man. You know it. You know it. I'll keep going as much as y'all want to go, man.
Hey, Coach, man.
I got lucky to have the street sign. And quick story on that. It's funny how that came up,
Go
because
ahead.
when I got there in 2014, I was going around like shaking hands, meeting people, So I met Michelle Carringer.
Mhm.
I don't know her exact position at the moment, but Michelle Carringer, she fiery little lady. Like she loves Central High School, boy. I love it. So I was out somewhere eating lunch with some people, and somebody mentioned like, hey, what about, what do you think the chances are at a state championship? And I'm like, yo, this is my first head coaching job. Like,
Right.
can I just like have a winning season first? And I kind of jokingly, I was like, man, if we have so somebody said, oh, what would you want if you had a state championship? Like if you won the school's first state championship? I'm like, man, like, I don't know. Like we gotta, memorize it somehow, some way. I was like, I don't know, maybe like a street named after me or something, man. Like, I mean, that's a way to like keep the memory going.
Yeah.
And I swear, after we won that first one, boy, she came and found me, and she was like, so where do you want that street sign to go? And I was like, no. Like I was just playing. Like for somebody that's had some success and the quarterback that's in me, like I really shy away from a lot of the, you know what I mean? Like I'm that guy talking about, hey, offensive line did a great job, receivers, like, I'm not that. So when she said, I was like, no, I was just playing. Like we really don't need a street sign. And she was like, nope, you said it. I remember you saying it. I'm going to do it. Just tell me where you wanted to go. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then eventually I felt like she was going to be for real about it. And I was like, hey, how about the street you turn on to go to the field house? There's only one street you got to turn on to go on the field house. And she was like, okay, there you go. You can have that. And I was like, damn, it's really about to happen. And so it was really cool. Like when we finally got to getting the boys their rings, and we had our ring ceremony, like later on in that year, like much later, because we had to get that. She displayed it to me, man, and my wife was there. My parents flew in from New Jersey. My sister was there. Like everybody was there, and it was an unbelievable feeling, man. Like I didn't think she would do it, but she did. And then I was scared that they would take it down as soon as I left, because they didn't expect me to leave so soon. But
No, they're not.
Wood said it's still up there, so
Yeah.
I hope it's still up there. If not, I got a copy of it anyway. So like I got my own copy of it.
Right.
I got it sitting right over there on the wall. So
Nah, Coach, that your work, man, your work was so well respected, man. It's in good hands. That sign, that street ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
yeah, man, and that represents so many people. You know what I mean? Not
Right.
just myself, my family, and the team, but coaches that look like us, man.
Right.
Players that look like us, players that don't. Coach, I mean, like you guys know, man. It means so much more for me, man. Just to see that sign. I mean, it stands for so much more. Yeah, it's a great thing, and just I don't know, like I'm completely humbled by the opportunity for them to put that up, man, for sure.
So, Coach, just coming from the aspect where you are now, the standpoint you are now, what advice would you give a kid that wants to be like Coach Ross when they grow up?
Ooh, it's a good question. Last time I heard that question, I thought I'll have an answer next time. You know, set goals. Because when you set goals, then you make a game plan, right? If you say, hey, I want to be a head coach at some point in time, and that's your goal, then every day you wake up, you should be working towards that. Have mentors because they help you execute your game plan and adjust your game plan. So set goals, have mentors or people that you can talk to, and always check your ego. Don't ever be bigger than what you think you are. Because at some point in time, life will bring you back down to size.
Yeah.
If life is going too well, stay even keel because eventually it's going to take a dip. Life is like a roller coaster, and if it's at the bottom, that means it's not done yet. It means you can, there's always room for you to keep grinding and keep climbing. So definitely set goals, have mentors, check your ego, and, never stay in one place too long because life's all about going with the ebbs and flows.
Sure, man. Coach Ross on Power Forward, Coach, dropping knowledge, man.
Telling you.
Loving it.
Hey, man, no, I appreciate you guys, man. It's been fun to follow you guys and see other conversations that you've had with other people. So, I know Wood was talking about getting me on. I thought it was just talk. You know what I mean? I didn't know if I could make the list.
Oh, whatever.
That's like trying to get Rel in the Central Bobcat shirt. I'm like, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. But it happened. We had both happen, man. We got him in the shirt. We got me on the show, man. I appreciate you guys, everything you guys are doing. Keep it moving. Hopefully you can get me back on and I can continue to share some of the good stuff. And, hopefully you guys take me up on the offer and we continue to connect, man, not just with us three, but with many other coaches out there. I want to continue to keep learning and keep growing any way I can as well.
For sure, man.
Coach, I appreciate you.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you, man. I just want to tell you, man,
y'all too.
It's funny. You never know who you can motivate, Coach. You never know who you can motivate, man. So just watching you from afar, I always been excited anytime they start talking about Coach Rosser because I love to see people who look like me have success.
Yeah, man.
I feel like when you won that state championship, you didn't just win that state championship, Coach. I got it too, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I got one too. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I like to hear.
Hey, but seriously, man, keep on doing all the good work that y'all doing up there, man. Make sure y'all stay connected in some ways with Knoxville because y'all work is still having an impact on us here, man. We love y'all, man.
Yeah, man, for sure. We loved our time there as well, and loved all the people that helped us grow during that time, and people that still continue to connect and keep up with us. And I appreciate you guys, man. You guys inspired me too, man. So let's continue to learn and grow from each other. Continue to stay safe. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it,
man. Yeah. Man, it's been another good episode with Rel and Wood. We signing off.
Peace.
Peace.